I mean, I love the investing side. To me, it's more exciting. I get to I have a little more control. I still love like my other real estate work. I love working with clients. I love people. So helping somebody out in that aspect and like helping them go through their first buy or their first investment or whatever it may be, love it. But on this side, I truly feel like I am an entrepreneur. I am running my business. I'm calling the shots. I'm collaborating with people.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Podcast. Today we have Vanessa Pizana, and she is an entrepreneur. She's been with Thierry for almost 2.5 years. She's a rock star real estate agent, true entrepreneur, real estate investor. So I'm very excited to dive into her story today. So thanks for coming on, Vanessa.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
She's real nervous, but
I'm so nervous.
So we're trying to break through that right now.
Yes.
Well, why don't you tell me about, kind of how you grew up and where you're from. I learned, when you sent over your bio, you're actually from Cedar Park. I didn't know that.
That's right.
Matt and I are from Round Rock. So tell us
Very
a little bit
close.
about your childhood and growing up and kind of, what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I grew up in Cedar Park. I went to Vista Ridge High School. While I was there at Vista Ridge, I was in like newspaper and yearbook. So like all of this is like so cool to me. I love it. Cedar Park, great place. I love, my parents still live there, so I go every so often. I'm in New Braunfels now, so that's a bit of a drive. But yeah, I grew up in Cedar Park. I went to school at Texas State and San Marcos, and then I lived in South Austin for a really long time before I moved to New Braunfels.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love New Braunfels.
It's cool.
Great community.
Yeah, it is. Well, so newspaper and what'd you say?
Yearbook.
Sorry. Newspaper and yearbook.
Yeah.
So did you want to kind of explore that when you were growing up? Did you ever think that you'd start your own business and be in real estate the way that you are?
Not at all. My dream was to be like in the camera, like news anchor, like doing that kind of media.
Perfect.
I loved newspaper. I loved like design, like the layout, print. And honestly, I think probably the thing that I loved the most was meeting people and hearing their story. So I think that's why I'm more nervous, because I'd rather be on the other side asking the questions and listening to your story. So it's, I'm on the other side. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be, my grandma used to tell me like, one day I'm going to see you on TV. And so that's what I pursued when I went to Texas State was mass communication.
Okay.
And then I changed my major. I was part of an organization in college, the Hispanic Business Student Association, and that kind of changed a lot of that's I think where I kind of learned first of, maybe not even first, but like taking ownership of running a business and learning those different aspects and just having fun with it. So building something and that I could do it.
What was the organization called?
HBSA, the Hispanic Business Student Association.
And so what does that association do?
So at Texas State, it's part of the business school, but the whole part of it was so that you can be prepared when you go into the real world of interviewing, setting up your resume, like being a professional, and how to network, like really good ways of networking, going to different events. And I feel like at that age, it's like some people, it's hard to break into that where you're just vulnerable and you're just going out and talking to people and meeting some people. But the cool thing was we also partnered or like visited a bunch of businesses. So I went to like Fox Sports out in Houston, in the Woodlands, and saw like behind the scenes of how a business runs. So cool.
Fox Sports, the network?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so cool. So that was just an example. We did like a whole trip. We went to Minute Maid Park. So we did all these different kinds of businesses, and it was like what goes on behind the scenes. And in order for us to even do these trips, we had to make money ourselves to
pay for them?
Yes. So we sold quesadillas in the quad. We made money that way, and it was like breaking down the cost of how much does one cost us and how much are we selling it for.
Right.
So It was
What's the profit margin on
honestly,
quesadillas?
I don't even remember what it was, but it was so cool of doing this with like my peers, the people that I loved hanging out with, and just having fun. And being, I was in like a leadership role there. So just the different aspects of running a business and kind of taking ownership of that and really seeing like what you reap what you sow. Like we're working really hard and then we're able to like do these really cool things. We went to Chicago, we went to Vegas, we went to just different places for like conferences, and it was awesome. It was fun. So doing that, that made me change my mind of what I wanted to do. I went into just general communications because I can go into marketing with a communications degree. I can go into advertising. And I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted it to be in that realm. And communication kind of gave me that opportunity to just like do whatever I wanted.
Yeah. So in college, do you feel like this association you're a part of is probably the most beneficial thing that you experienced and learned there?
Yeah, honestly, when I look back of my like college career, HBSA is like the first thing that comes to mind. And it's helped me a lot in my business. Now I'm still stay close to a lot of my friends, and I've helped them purchase their first home. Now a lot of them are asking me questions about investing, and it's so cool because that community that I kept and like maintained, we're growing together, and I'm able to help them and service them in this space. It's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so you graduated with general communication degree, and then I assume at that point you weren't thinking of going and starting a real estate business, correct?
Nope, not there yet. So I worked for Sport Clips Haircuts. I worked there since I was 16. It was my first job.
Cutting hair?
I was a receptionist.
Okay.
Super cool. I have such an appreciation for men's hair now, and I'll be the first to be like, that guy needs a haircut. It's like something to point out. But since I've worked there since I was 16, I also worked there at the store in San Marcos. I used my connections to get into my first real world job out of college. And so I worked for their headquarters, which they're based in Georgetown. So
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I see it over there off Williams Road.
Yes. And the organization it's fascinating. The same thing, just like learning behind the scenes, like how does this cutting hair, that's all we do, but there's so many people behind this business. It's amazing. So I worked for their company stores starting off, which was the Austin and Vegas market, and I did marketing for them. So
are they franchises?
Yes.
Okay.
So their company stores, their main ones are the Austin and Vegas, and everything else is franchise.
So company-owned company stores, meaning the headquarters owns them?
Yes.
Got it.
And these are like their test stores too. So before they roll it out to the rest of the stores, they'll test things out in these markets.
Understood.
Yeah, which is fun. I went to a bunch of games. I went to the Stars hockey games. I was the person that was out there of, passing out coupons, just trying to get more people to come into the store. And so I did that for a while, and then I worked for their national marketing department. And I opened up over 100 stores, but it was all like marketing from home base. I didn't have to go anywhere.
Right.
Just set up their marketing plan and got things set up.
In terms of like billboards, print ads, social media ads.
Yes.
Google ads.
Yes, and that was at the beginning. So my primary role was just grand opening. So whenever somebody did a new store, we had a really good plan around how to hit it off at a really good start and leading up to this grand opening of the store. And so understanding, I did a lot of print marketing. So I did coupons, like newspaper ads. I didn't get really into billboards or anything like that. They weren't as profitable for them at the time. And then there was other departments that were more in charge of. I'm more store specific. So if you're getting a billboard, now we're talking about a billboard for all of Austin. So instead of just this one particular store.
Got it.
So I was very store specific. But it was cool because I did get to see commercials being made for them, doing just like the creative side of things. And I really enjoyed that. And so I did marketing.
What was your title there at that time?
Grand opening specialist, marketing specialist.
I'm just trying to understand.
Like
so
that.
like you say a new store there's a grand opening in, I don't know, Michigan or something.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be in charge of helping them boost that grand opening, get it open, get people in there.
Yes.
And you'd work directly with them, the franchisee, and the vendors and people who are helping make everything happen.
Yes, that's spot on.
Very cool.
It was really cool, a lot of fun. It was a very corporate job. I had to be there at 8 o'clock. I couldn't leave any time earlier, so 8 to 5. And I lived in South Austin and drove to Georgetown every day. That was like an hour getting there and an hour back, and just like prime traffic time. It was the worst.
Yeah, it seems like you're just trying to move further and further away from
I know.
from where you're from.
I know. And I have and my family, they're like, I just keep going further out, and they're like, come on, like we're right over this way, but I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
But after Sport Clips, I was like, okay, this driving is like getting out of hand. My community, like my friends are all here in South Austin. I'm in Austin. Like I want to do something different. Now I have experience and I can get into something fun. I really wanted to get into social media. And I started working for a company called Shelton Interactive. And it was complete opposite of what I was used to. There were a lot of people who were really young, and it was so much fun. Like I had fun going to work every day. I looked forward to it, and it was.
They had ping pong in the lobby.
Yeah, it was just like, let's just hang out. Like, and at the time I'm like, man, the things that I remember the most there is like, obviously the time that I had fun hanging out with my coworkers. And it was a small company, so it was more. I don't want to call it a startup, because I don't know. I think that like when you think of a startup, like our CEO Rusty Shelton, he's amazing. He's a badass. Like he taught us so much. He taught me a lot. And I was in charge of running a team that helped. Okay, so let me lay this out. So Shelton Interactive was like a media company, and they primarily worked with thought leaders who's writing a book. That's kind of how a lot of it started. So Alex, you're writing a book, and you're writing a book about real estate. So now our job was let's build your website, so we can have the book featured on there, and we can help. And you're using that book as a tool for your business. So get the website set up. We had a PR team. They're stellar. So they're
booking podcasts.
Yes, like this. They're getting for you to promote your book, for you to promote your business. So we had those different aspects, and then we had a whole social media team. My job was to help build the website, and I loved what I did there. So I went from marketing to now I'm kind of running a team, and we're building a website.
So you're working with developers, designers, coders.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. It was great. I exercised more of my creative side there than I was doing it at Sport Clips. I learned more like looking at numbers, being more analytical, and now I'm on the other end of being creative. And also at the same time, I was in leadership there too. I learned a lot about running a business and having to wear multiple hats. And while this is my title, then if we got to get this done, we all have to come together. And now we're trying to do this too. So that company got acquired by another company, and which was really interesting to go through too, of learning what acquisitions look like, and kind of being right there in the middle, just seeing how it's all flowing out. And it was a fun company too. They were based out of Charleston, and it just wasn't my vibe. I liked that this company was local, and then now I'm working for a company based out of Charleston. I didn't like it. So, not that I just didn't like what my work life was like.
Right.
Then after that, I worked for a true startup, which was Jackrabbit Mobile.
When did you graduate college?
2011.
Okay, 2011.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So true local?
Yes, Jackrabbit Mobile. They had their
Jackrabbit Mobile.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had their at that time I was like, okay, I want to break into something that's more, I don't want to just do websites. I want to do another kind of software. So I really want to learn about mobile apps. It's like, okay, cool. Let me jump into this one, Jackrabbit Mobile. Their office was off of E6. It used to be a bike shop. You go into work and you don't have a desk. It's just like pick a spot, work from wherever you're most comfortable. You can work from home. And that was a big thing too, like working from home, having that flexibility, come into the office at whatever time you want. As long as you're getting your work done, we're collaborating and things are fine. And most of the time it was more like, I enjoyed going into the office. I enjoyed that one-on-one working with developers. And my role there, I don't even know what my title was there, communications specialist. I did a lot of like forward-facing client work. So worked with the clients, kind of like also, what do they call it? Like
client success
yes,
managers.
Yeah. So I did some of that, but also I helped run some projects because I was like, do I want to go into project management? Do I not? And I think Jackrabbit was the one that really pushed me to be uncomfortable in just pushing myself to put it, like learning something new that I didn't feel good about, which that's hard. Same thing with real estate. That kind of pushed me. This was my last job before I got into real estate.
Okay. That
I realized, man, I am hustling so hard for another company and I could work hard for myself.
Yeah.
And that was that transition for me. But Jackrabbit taught me working from home and being accountable on myself. So that that work environment and going into real estate, I think, was really important. Just being like, it's just you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think what was the point when you left Jackrabbit Mobile and decided to go into real estate?
Jackrabbit, we were working on a project and things just weren't jiving well with the company, and it was like they needed to make some really big changes, so they did a lot of layoffs. But it was just like restructuring the company. We're doing layoffs where you're getting a full-time salaried position, but we're going to try to change it up so where you come on as a contractor. So with that kind of change, I was already looking for another job, and it was more of like, man, I was in a position to where I got given a project and I didn't know anything I was doing. And I would wake up, they had two teams, they had or three teams, the Austin team, they had a team out in Ukraine, and they had a team in India. So I'm waking up early in the morning to figure out what happened from the team in Ukraine, make breakfast, then go into the office. I work all day long, and then go home, have dinner, maybe work out, and then I get back on for another 2 hours to talk to the team in India. So I'm literally waking up, going straight to my desk, working so hard, trying to make this project work. I felt like a lot of pressure on me to do well, and I'm just like working myself where I'm so stressed out. It was not sustainable whatsoever. But same thing, I learned to push myself. What are my limits and what are the things that I truly value? Like, what do I want for my life? What do I want for my career? And real estate was always something that was interesting to me, that I was like, all right, I'm going to go into real estate. And that's where that started. So it was the same thing. You got to approach it as you're running a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Do you feel like there was any pressure from any outside sources to like stay at one of these jobs or anything? And the reason I ask is like for myself, I didn't work at any companies like this, but I didn't stay at any job for too long necessarily. You know, when I got sober, I was working at Firehouse Subs, making $8 an hour.
Yeah.
And then went and worked at a country club for like a year. Then I worked in oil and gas for like 6 months until the oil market tanked.
Yeah.
Then I went and worked for some computer company that got all this stuff in, would resell it on eBay and all these other places. And I enjoyed doing that because I felt like I was getting more skills, learning. I never intended on having a job. And so I was using this as like paid learning for me of how these businesses run, where they're getting their stuff, how they're doing certain things. Not so much Firehouse, but the others. And so I really enjoyed, kind of learning new things, going somewhere, learning something else. And I feel like it did truly benefit me, in business by working at all these different companies.
Yeah.
However, other people probably were like, you need to, find your career, stick with your career.
That was for sure. I think my dad was the one who was like, you're going to a startup, like, just stay where you're at and like kind of go through it. And those were different times too, right? So my dad worked for Digital, Hewlett Packard, Compaq, but he stuck with the company for a long period of time. So me coming out of college, and I'm like, I just need to get a job, because finding a job out of college it's harder than what they tell you. I thought, I was like, oh, I have my degree, now I'm going to find a job. And I was like, oh man, like nobody's calling me back.
Right.
So I think there was pressure of like, you just need to get somewhere and stay there. But I'm pretty stubborn. And I was like, I'm actually going in a different approach. I need experience so I can get a higher paying job and I can move it faster. So I'm going to work at this job for a couple years. Now that was the goal, 2 years. I'm going to work here 2 years. I'm going to find something else, switch it up. I'm going to work here for 2 years. Okay, next thing. But the same thing that you were saying is like all of these different companies, I'm so appreciative of every place that I worked at because I learned so much. I put myself in a position of learning and having to just like uncomfortable situations of like, I don't even, a website, I don't know. How does this even work? I took a class. I went to... I forgot, like the Austin Coding Academy. I took a class just so I could understand what was happening, because I had no idea. Like, I'm talking to these developers and I'm asking you to like make this a button. How does that work? So I feel like I never had a true vision of what I wanted to do, but I wanted a beautiful career, right? Yeah. So it was just like, let's learn. Yeah, well, and it's not a bad thing, right? Yeah. I think maybe, people feel like they might be lost because of that. Yeah. But when, viewing it from the mindset of I'm here to learn, and, for me, like, I didn't necessarily need any of these jobs per se, but I just wanted to... I wanted income coming in, and I wanted to learn something, and I was looking for the way for me to, start my own business and what I was going to do. Yeah. So I think it's just your perspective on it. Yeah, it was, and on it, like you said, like kind of feeling lost. Like there was definitely times where I was like, I don't know what my next step is. Yeah. But I know I'm capable of going into any role or any company, and I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to perform. Yeah. And I think that in itself is like being okay to not be good at something, but like pushing yourself through it. That's something that I value it now, and it still happens every day. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's crucial for your business. Like a lot of people over the years have like approached Matt or I and said like, hey, I want to start this business, like, can you review my business plan and everything? And it's like, yeah, we can review it, but like this 2-page business plan that you have written out with like the 20 steps of what you're going to do, by the time you get to step 2, it's probably going to change directions. And it's crucial to be able to be comfortable in those situations of the unknown, and just be willing to trial and error and figure it out along the way. It is required, because it's never going to go according to plan. No, never. And so the same thing with like website builds or like at Jackrabbit, it was you're trying to fail so you can figure out what to change, what to do better. And as you're building, that's what happens all the time. You like your reiteration of like, okay, well, this didn't work this way, so now we know what's not being successful, so let's just pivot it and go in a different direction. Yeah. And that was a hard lesson to learn starting real estate, because in my head, when I was going to start this real estate business, I did my research. I looked at other people, what they're doing. They have their social media all together. They have a website. They have all these things already good to go. And when I started, I was like, I need to have all of these things set before I even try to go out and acquire business. And that was not it. It was, It had to be like, I don't even know what it was, but at some point I was like, just forget about the stuff. Go try to get your first deal, get that done, and you learn from it and you move on. All of this other things, it'll come.
Yeah.
So having to shift my mind of like, I don't have to have everything perfect in order for me to start. I just got to start. I just got to go.
Yeah. No, and that's usually like my advice to people in those moments when they bring the business plans. You know, it's like the website and all this and my business cards, and you know, you don't need any of those things. Like, don't even waste a penny on those things. You should just pick up the phone and start cold calling clients and land you 2 clients, and then get some money to pay for those things and continuously build from there. But like, if you're unwilling to make the calls right now or go out and acquire the business, then don't even worry about steps 1 through 15. Yeah. You're just wasting your time and money.
And then you look at your business plan and you're like, just throw it out the door because we're in a whole different place now.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you get your license? Do you remember what year?
I think it was either 2018. I think 2018.
Okay.
I'm coming up over like a little over my 4th year. I just had to do my classes.
All right.
So I know. And it took me a year to get through my classes because I feel like same thing at the beginning, it was like imposter syndrome of like, can I even do this? Like, it was so much a mental game with me, even just to get through my classes of thinking like, I can do this. Wait, Vanessa, are you good enough to do this? Like, that mental battle took me forever. And then finally it was just like, just get out there and do it and have fun with it. Yeah. Just have fun. So it took me a year to get through my classes.
Did you do that while at Jackrabbit, or you quit?
Yeah, I started the classes while I was at Jackrabbit, and then I just quit. I was working with Camp Gladiator with my ex-husband at the time and helping him in his business. And then I was also working with other trainers and helping them run their business. So I did have like some side hustles going on that helped me kind of maintain income coming in. And then on the other end, it was like taking my classes and just getting through them.
How was for that first year without the license? Side hustles, was it freeing in a sense? Were you happier? Yeah. What was that like?
It was, I think after you've been working, if you're in any environment that's extremely stressful and then you finally feel like it's done, it's over, oh my gosh, it's like you can breathe. It is. Right. And it's a lot of like, I would still wake up and be like, I need to get to work, but it's like, I don't right now. Yeah. So that was nice. It was definitely very freeing. And also with working in like these side hustles, they were things that I felt good about. Like, I felt confident in the things that I was doing and I knew what I was doing. So that was to me also pretty important to have while I'm doing something completely new and I'm learning something new, because this is where I'm uncomfortable. But I can kind of like steal some of that confidence that I have from something that I know I'm really good at. Yeah. So it kind of mental game of just like, I'm good at this, I feel good, now I can learn this and I have the confidence to do it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are scared to take that step. Yeah. But, you know, it's as long as you're willing to put in the work, it's not as bad, right? And like you can have side hustles. I mean, it's not like you have to, you know, you didn't have to sit there without income for a year, and then also once you get your license, it takes time to build up client base, and you know, you get paid from the work you did 3 months ago, you know.
It's a long game, that's for sure. My first deal, my first deal took me a couple of months to get, and but like to get paid, it took me 6 months. Right. So it was like, man, I got my license and now you got to find that first deal. When I was interviewing brokerages at the time, I kind of approached it differently. I wanted to interview mentors. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I didn't want to go into a brokerage where I just got into another class. I don't even care if it was the broker, if it was somebody else. I just needed to find someone that I can ask questions, and I wanted to be in the action. So what do I do? What can I do every single day that is going to help me build this business? And I found someone. She was actually my, I took a class right before I did my tests, and she was the instructor there, and she helped me out so much, and helped me. And she's like, girl, and a lot of it too was like, girl, you got it. Like, I just needed to hear that. I just needed to hear, like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing right now.
Hey, this is Alex, and I'm the co-owner of TRE. Since the beginning of time, real estate has created more millionaires than any other investment, and I want to get you involved in a community that will help you achieve your goals within real estate investing. I know you don't have the knowledge, connections, or resources to start investing today. Most people spin their wheels over and over and over without ever actually taking any action to successfully start investing. That's why I want to get you involved in our community so that you can get the hands-on support, training, and meet the other members that you can start doing deals with in order to start investing in real estate. You need to get in the room with the right people who can help you achieve your goals and get the hands-on support and one-on-one training that you need in order to start investing. Just click on the link in the description to join the enTREpreneur community today.
Starting off and you don't know how to start, like, build this business, you're kind of floating around. What am I doing every day? Well, I don't know what I need to do every day to build this business. She helped me out a lot.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And where'd you join?
It was called Three Creeks Real Estate. They're based, at the time, their office is like the cusp of Cedar Park and Austin, like right across from Lake Line Mall.
And you were in New Braunfels?
And I was in South Austin. I know. But again, it was, to me, what was the most important was having a mentor.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go into the office every day. I would do it. And I was also doing it with my sister. So my sister at the time had her license too. And so she lives in Cedar Park, and she was a teacher. So this was easier for her. And if we're doing it together, I felt good. And I had the flexibility. I could drive over here.
Yeah. And so what was the plan? When you did get your license officially, what were you thinking you were going to do within your business?
So the plan was, I was like, okay, I'm like really overachiever. I'm going to be a broker, or I'm going to have a team, or I'm going to do these things. And again, just kind of humbling of like, dude, just go get your first deal. Like, keep it simple. Focus on that first one. And I ended up helping a family member out, and they trusted me, but I also had my mentor to back me up. So she helped me kind of guide me through the process. And once you get through that first one, you're like, man, I'm hungry. I want the next one. But starting off, it was, I think it was really important. I had a really good network. I like to maintain my relationships of friends, people from college, just being like, hey, how's it going? And just maintaining those relationships and helped me out a lot starting off my business. So I just reached out to everybody like, hey, I'm a realtor now, so if you know of anybody or you need something, just let me know. And then social media was probably my bread and butter of getting in front of people in a non-aggressive way, of just being like, hey, I'm a realtor, this is what I do, like, come look at this house with me, or let's go to some new builds. I love looking at houses. I can look at houses all day long.
So a lot of people, I feel, are, social media specifically within their business, they're kind of afraid to put content out there, or, like, what am I going to look like? Or if I say something wrong, or how am I going to be viewed? And so you wanted to be in front of camera.
Yeah. And I went through the same struggle too, of like, oh, my hair's like not done, or is this good lighting, or should I be doing something that's more professional looking, or what kind of content am I putting out there? But working at like a media-based company, I knew that social media was going to be very important. Starting any company, it's your brand. So one thing I did starting off was I listened to a bunch of real estate podcasts. I just needed to have, like, surround myself with real estate knowledge. Like, let's just constantly talk about it, or like just have it in my head. That way I'm like learning from different people who have been successful. And the one thing was an advice that like really stuck with me is starting off as Vanessa, you're a realtor now, but nobody knows you're a realtor now. Like, your friends and family don't even recognize you as a realtor. So that's my first job, is to make sure that when people think of me, they're like, oh, Vanessa is a realtor. In the past, they're probably like, oh, Vanessa likes to work out. If that's the content I'm putting out, then people are like, oh, I love going to restaurants. She loves going to restaurants, right? So
we left something out in your intro. We didn't mention world traveler.
I know. I was like, I should have put that in there too. I love to travel. I love new foods. But those are like whatever you're putting out there for other people to see, that's how they're going to remember you. So I needed to be creative of like, I need to brand myself now as a realtor so my friends and my family can now, when so-and-so is asking like, oh, thinking of selling my house. Oh, I have my friend Vanessa. She's a realtor. But you really have to get over that hump of like really branding yourself so that people remember.
And so is that working for you?
Yeah.
You said it's your bread and butter. So.
It's my bread and butter. I've been so fortunate that a lot of my deals are coming from a referral, or like it's someone's mom or like friend of a family. And every so often, there's some others where like I've never met them before or just conversation, but I've had people reach out to me. Oh, we're moving from California. I saw you posted about the river at New Braunfels or something, like, hey, we're thinking of moving there. We're thinking of over here. And it's like, it's just conversation starters. It's same thing, like non-invasive. I'm not cold calling or like calling people, but it's just like a really nice, friendly way of, staying in the forefront of your community.
Right.
Plus, I think it's just fun. Like, I'm having fun with it. And the other part was, I think people value more genuine content. So if my hair isn't fixed or it is what it is, but it's like I'm being vulnerable. That's the hard part. I'm being just myself in front of my phone, just being like, well, I'm out here flipping a house, or I'm out here, whatever I'm doing. And I think people get to know you that way, and they get it's nice.
I agree with you. What's your favorite channel?
My favorite channel?
Social media channel.
I don't know. What do you mean?
For you, like for your business, like Instagram, TikTok,
Instagram,
Facebook.
For sure. I love everything's on Instagram. I've tried TikTok. I do once, like certain videos that I create, I'll post it on TikTok too. But I think Instagram for sure, only because it makes it so easy, because I can just push it to Facebook too.
Yeah.
But
you ever made any YouTube videos?
I haven't done one yet.
You should.
It would be fun. I know the one thing I also think about is like, okay, if I'm trying to be like cool, I got to stay cool with the kids, and what are they on? That way I can really be ready
TikTok.
For any change. Yeah, TikTok. And then have you heard of Be Real?
I have. I thought that was dead.
I don't know. I don't even like post anymore, but it's nice to like stay in touch with like my nephews and my nieces that way, so I can see what they're doing. But
yeah,
I am interested of like, okay, what else should I do? But I really should check out YouTube. You're right.
So the social media started taking off for you, bringing clients in. And did you have goals of investing at that time, or was it really just kind of build up my real estate client business and commissions, or when did the investing start coming into play?
So I honestly, going into real estate, my viewpoint was just this. I didn't even know investing was even an option. I just didn't know. But same thing, it was just like, you got to learn, right? So the investing part came around. I've heard of a few people, like some friends doing like different kinds of deals, and it was creative to me. It was like, what? I didn't even know wholesaling was a thing. I didn't know you could, I've always wanted to flip a house. Like, I wanted to exercise my creative side too, and it's so satisfying to turn something that needs a little bit of love, and then it's beautiful. So I wanted to do it. I just didn't know how. And then I met my husband, and he's an investor. And honestly, I met him because one of my neighbors in Easton Park, she was like, hey,
that's in
South Austin.
Okay.
She was like, hey, my brother works with this investor in New Braunfels. They're always looking for realtors or like people to partner with. Like, we should go hang out over there. I've never hung out in New Braunfels. Like, I did in college, but I haven't been back. Like I went to Schlitterbahn, but that was it. So I was like, oh my God, let's go. So we went, and the whole time she was just like trying to set me up, which worked out. Thank you. And, but I went in going like, okay, like I'm here to like put my name out there, and I'm going to be like Vanessa the Realtor. And then it turned into like, oh yeah, I want to learn from you. I want to like learn, but also let's go on a date. And so that kicked off. So the investing side really picked up was when I met him, and then also obviously when I joined Teifke Real Estate. I know that I wanted to do it, I just didn't know how. And I didn't understand like, wait, what? Like the wholesaling part was a whole different, I didn't even know that was possible. And I remember having a conversation with Matt at one point, and he was like, because I said, I don't know what he said. I said traditional real estate, and he's like, what is really traditional real estate? I was like, that's a really good question, actually. Yeah. But it just opened up a whole new world of like
all the possibilities.
Yeah. And all those possibilities are scary, but same thing. You just got to start. You just got to jump in and go with it. I've been very fortunate because my husband is really smart. He's been in the doing deals for a long time. He started in I think like insurance, home insurance. Oh, and then he also worked in like foreclosures at Wells Fargo, and then he also worked for Armando Montalongo. It was like the Flip This House or one of the shows that was on. Yeah, so he worked for that guy, and that's when he started getting into the investing side, really. And then we did our first flip together, and that was another thing. Are we going to be able to work with each other? Is it a good idea? We did our first flip last year.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was scary, but man, that was a good deal.
You bought the house for 40?
We bought the house for 105.
Okay.
And we sold it at 210.
Yeah.
Or was it 220?
How much work y'all put into it?
Like 15. It was a sweet deal. And it was so much fun. Like we really worked that deal of when we got it. And we really worked that deal. It was a lot of conversations, and like I don't know how many no's we got before we finally got that yes.
Yeah, for the seller to sell it to you?
Yes.
Why were they selling?
Honestly, I'm not. I think they started it, and like he started it, and I think he was losing money on it.
Oh, maybe. He was an investor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't think he was an investor. I think he bought the house. He was fixing it up for his girlfriend or something like that for them to live there. And then she decided she didn't want to live there. And he put so much into the house. But I think he just didn't have enough money to finish it. So then he was like, I want to sell it, but I want to sell it for this. I have no idea how much he got it for. I would love to know that. But we knew what we wanted to get it for, and he finally said yes.
Yeah, and I think you closed on it because I remember texting you about it right when you were closing. But I think you closed on it March or April of last year.
Yes.
And then how long did it take for y'all to sell it?
It took us a couple weeks.
Just a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
From when you bought it?
Oh, from when we bought it? No. From when we bought it, from the time that we bought it took us, I think we had an idea that the work that we were going to do was only going to take 2 weeks. Yeah, that was not it. It was like a month. I think we bought the house in January. No, it was February. And then we sold it in March or April.
Okay.
So it took us a couple months like to get through the work. And the other thing that I learned is that like I wanted to do part of the work. Like I want to get down and dirty. I want to do some painting. I want to have fun with it. And then I realized it takes me twice as long to do something. Yeah. And that's not my job. I really should have just paid somebody to do it because they would have done it in 2 days and it took me 2 weeks.
Right.
So, but I had fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah. I had those thoughts too.
Yeah.
And then I quickly figured out that I would not be touching anything in here. And we'll just pay people to get it done.
Yeah. It's like, where are you putting your time and your energy?
Yeah.
My time and energy is better spent somewhere else, of looking for my next deal, or how am I going to sell this thing? Like putting more of that energy in there versus staying at a house all day long. I had so much fun doing it, but that's not my role.
Yeah. So y'all bought the first flip last year, sold it a few months, maybe profited 90-ish, somewhere around there after closing costs and loan and everything.
Yes.
So how many of you bought since then?
We, in total right now, we've bought 7 properties.
All right, in the last
year
I don't
and a
know,
half,
15 months or so?
Yeah.
And so the 7 that y'all bought, all flips?
2 of them we hoteled, so we bought them. So we always go in with assessing our numbers. I need to know what our threshold is. I need to know.
Back to the quesadillas.
Yes, exactly. Because it is very important to know our different plans, our exit plans.
Mm-hmm.
If this isn't going to go the way that we want to, then we have another plan in place. And if that doesn't go the way we want to, we need options.
Right.
So I know what we need. We know what we need to buy it at. You make your money on the buy.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a lot of negotiation, there's a lot of no's, and it's like we're close, like we got to go back. So when we're assessing our houses, we're like, okay, 2 of them that we hoteled, it was like we could flip it, we could sell it, we had options, but it was at some point for the 2 that we did, it was like, I think the cost, it's not worth it for us right now. So we just let them go. I just listed them and we made money off of those.
Okay, so you flipped those.
Yes. And then the other ones were flips.
Off. Well, when you say
so
we
you're
bought,
saying
wholetailed.
Yeah, so we bought them.
Got it.
We didn't
Listed.
put any work into it, and then we just listed it.
I thought you were saying hoteled, like like a hotel.
Oh no.
Yeah, hotel it.
Mm-hmm.
Great, yeah. So you bought it, list it, take your profit.
Yeah, so then we had the opportunity to put money into it, to fix it up if we wanted to, but then in the end we were just like, it's probably in our best interest just to, one of them we just painted it on the inside. It just needed a little bit of that, and that was fine. That was enough. And same thing, we know our numbers of what could we sell it for and how are we like comfortable, because you do have to account for closing costs, loans, just anything that you're putting into it.
Yeah.
I think it makes it, whenever I watch like any investing shows, it makes it sound so easy of like breaking down the numbers. I have spreadsheets now where it's like I'm breaking down the numbers and I'm trying to, on our repairs, I'm going up a little higher just so I can be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you never know what can come up in the house.
Oh, and it always does. When the contractor says 2 weeks, he means 4 weeks.
Yes.
When you thought materials were $2,000, it's $3,000.
Yep.
You know, when you thought you were just doing this, you're actually going to do these 10 other things too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's happening in the house that we're working on now. Same thing, like contractor told us it was going to be like a month and a half, and I was like, nope, I know for sure. But it's also like, I know what I'm expecting, so as we're working, it's not like that it was their fault. It could be something that maybe I want it done a little differently, or like really communicating those things, and those can be things that like drag things on a little bit, or finding the right kind of material.
Yeah.
We have the house that we have now, we had to fix up the siding, and it turned out to be way more siding than we anticipated. And then we had to go find it, and we wanted it cedar, and we couldn't find it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We eventually did, but they all told us it was going to take us 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Back ordered. And I was like, oh no, this is like putting us far back, but just had to drive a little bit to go find it ourselves.
And so y'all have done 7 flips?
I think it's 7.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you,
It is 7.
how much do you think you've made, give or take, in 15 months with 7 flips? Profit? Just a roundabout number.
I don't know, because I know some of the ones that we did, we didn't make that much on.
Yeah, the market changed.
Yes, market changed.
Mid last year.
One of the houses, we just finished it, and that was the same thing of, we do our research, so we look at, what's happening in these neighborhoods, how many days on market are they sitting, what are our expectations, what do they look like, are ours looking a little better, we try to be a little like nicer, but also if there's another house down the road that looks better than ours, okay, well, what do we got to do, because that's our competition.
Mm-hmm.
And we 1 week, this one house stayed on the market maybe for like a couple weeks maybe, and then the market shifted really fast, and ours I think stayed on the market for like longer than a month, and that I was not expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is not horrible.
It's not horrible at all, but it was
we had
still
one that
like
stayed on
mental.
for like 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
Here, it was horrible.
Oh my god.
2, that not 8 months, but give or take, they're on for a long time, and we ended up getting out and just breaking even. But
yeah,
I mean, last year for us was not a great time to flip. The year prior, we probably flipped like 20.
That's awesome.
A lot.
That's amazing. Yeah, the one that our first one, that was like prime time. It was great. We sold it for more than we thought we were gonna sell it for. So that was awesome. That was so great. And it was on the market for less than, it was like a little around 2 weeks. So that was stellar. And then the next one that we had, it was more of a struggle. And that's a mental game of like, what are we doing wrong? All the feedback we're getting, positive feedback. Like I really take that feedback so like to heart, because it's really, what can we do differently? Do we need to, I don't know, do we need to paint it again? Do we do different colors? Like, I don't know. People have different feedback and preferences, but we're like, well, what are we doing wrong? But did we list it right? Is it at the right price point? But we still assess our numbers and like, it is like, what are we doing? And yeah, it's like the worst mental game for me. It's like highs and lows.
Yeah. Well, give or take, give the people a number. They want to know, Vanessa, her first year investing, about how much did she make?
I would say we made, well, that first one was 90.
Yeah. I got that.
And then I know one we didn't make much. We probably made like 15, which is still good. Anything positive to me is still good. So 15. And then I would say we're probably around, I don't even know if my number's right, but like 175, maybe 200
for all
there.
7?
Yeah.
In 15 months?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Do you feel like the investing has superseded the realtor commission income?
1,000% for sure.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And do you enjoy, I'm sure you love and enjoy both, but which one do you like the most?
I mean, I love the investing side. To me, it's more exciting. I get to I have a little more control. I still love like my other real estate work. I love working with clients. I love people. So helping somebody out in that aspect and like helping them go through their first buy or their first investment or whatever it may be, love it. But on this side, I truly feel like I am an entrepreneur. I am running my business. I'm calling the shots. I'm collaborating with people.
All the skills you picked up at the places.
And it's amazing. It's so cool. The thing that I love too is like I'm now teaching like my nephews and nieces, or my stepdaughter comes to our houses and she checks it out. She helps us like, oh my gosh, we go to Floor and Decor and she's like, again? And we're there and we're like, well, and then she gets into it of like, oh, what about this one? Or like, let's look at this. So it's like the experience that she's going through and seeing this is so valuable, and she doesn't even know it yet.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you what does the future hold with real estate and investing for you guys? So
for us, I enjoy flipping, but I really I think I want to go find a lot and do a new build. I think that would be a lot of fun. So that's on the goal.
In New Braunfels?
New Braunfels, Canyon Lake is really nice. We are pretty successful in Seguin, San Antonio, San Marcos. Like
Seguin's where the first one was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had actually 3-4 of ours have been in Seguin.
Yeah.
Seguin has been really good to us, and the town is really cute. The downtown area is awesome. So
new build?
Yes.
What else?
New build. I also would love to learn more about commercial land. Just kind of like, I guess, learning more outside of residential.
Yeah.
See what I could do.
On the development side? Or what with commercial?
Yeah, maybe like some kind of development. We have some friends that he's been really successful of owning like just place for like trucks to go. So like on the industrial side, I guess a little bit more
for like 18-wheelers.
Yeah, and just like parking there. I don't know what else he has them doing, but like that space, I'm just thinking of like, all right, I've tackled on doing this and I feel really confident. Now I want to learn more. I want to get into something that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But that I'm learning.
Yeah. Well, you should.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to help, just let me know.
Oh yeah.
The truck stop thing. An old barber I was going to at the time, you know, he grew up with Matter. They went to middle school or something together, so he knows what we do.
Yeah.
And you know, so when I go get a haircut from him, we'd always talk real estate. And he was talking about an idea of, I think, the same concept where, you know, around here specifically, at least I don't see him, and I think he's right. There's not a lot of places where 18-wheelers can just park a few days, overnight, a week, whatever they need, you know, in between stops or whatever they're doing. And so it's the concept of creating a parking lot, basically. But it's gated. You know, you got security cameras. Yep. They got their own spot, and they pay like $300-500 a week or something like that. You got 1,000 of those or 100 of those. I mean, that's and they're full because there's no other way to do it, and you've got it near the major, like, you know, 45 or 130 or, you know, the major highways that they need to travel on. It sounds like a great business. Oh yeah,
for sure. And it's like things like that where, I mean, I don't even think of these things, you know, like what are some things that are happening every day? And in that aspect too, like that's a business or a trade, or like that is continuously going, like nothing's going to truly impact that right away. So I'm servicing. What are those things? What are things that I can do so that way I can create a service to them?
And they have nowhere to go. Like you don't just go park 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
You know, at Walmart overnight or something, you know. So I think you should. I think you should explore looking at that. There's a lot of opportunity right now within commercial real estate for existing stuff. So like multifamily, light industrial, storage units, mobile home parks, office. A lot of people are doing really cool things with office space because, you know, companies are no longer wanting to work in the office. I mean, these owners are just defaulting on their loans. Like, there's a ton of big players out there who are just letting these office spaces go back to the bank. But what some places are doing is they're converting them into apartments. They're converting them into, you know, different things other than, you know, office. And so it's a good opportunity to pick up, if y'all are interested, to buy some commercial real estate while you might be able to buy it at a discount right now with high interest rates.
That's true.
And hold on to it for however long you want to.
Yeah. See, there's so much out there. It's just taking that leap, taking that jump.
Yep. Well, what would be your advice to someone who you know, is watching this and maybe they're kind of at their Jackrabbit mobile stage right now, or maybe they're just graduating college and they're not sure what they want to do. They, you know, they're obviously watching this because they're interested in real estate or starting their own business and entrepreneurship. What's your advice to younger Vanessa?
To younger Vanessa, my advice is to take that jump. In my head, I think what's the worst that can happen? Have fun doing whatever you're doing, and truly enjoy it and take that risk. I think no matter what you do, you're going to learn from it. So it's just taking that leap of faith and knowing that you can be resilient and you can get through it and be creative about it.
Yeah, betting on yourself, being confident about it.
Betting on yourself, I like that one.
Where can all of our viewers and everybody watching find you? Check out your travel vlogs on social media.
You can follow me on Instagram at Vanessa_TXLiving. Hit me up.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Vanessa.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.